What's up, guys? Friday, another review. Like every week. Have I lied? Never. Okay, so I hope you guys like the intro. I just did it, but I'm inside because it started to get windy, so can't be making videos in the wind.
No, you just can't.
So yeah. So that's enough about what happened this week. Let's get straight to topic, which is film. Go. 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 Alright, go. This week I'm going to be talking about Mary Lambert's 1989 Pet Sematary. Pet Sematary was written by Stephen King. He wrote the book and the screenplay for this movie. It was directed by Mary Lambert, and it came out April 21st, 1989. It stars Dale Midkiff, Fred Gwynne, and Denise Cosby. Fred Gwynne is also from the Monsters. Now, if you've read the book, it's pretty much the same as the movie, but movie adds in a couple things. Pet Sematary is about the Creed family coming from New York and moving to Maine. They buy a nice house. We find out that Louis Creed, the father of the family, is a doctor who works at a university. The wife is a housewife. They have a little girl, 6 years old, who is starting school, who misses Chicago and is starting school in Maine. And a little boy around 3, whose name is Gage. They meet their new neighbor, called Judd. As you watch the family moving in, you can see there are lots of trucks coming by, and at one point Gage walks into the road, and quickly Judd grabs him and explains to the family that the roads are very dangerous because there are a lot of trucks coming by. The little girl named Ellie, she notices that there's a little path coming from the backyard of the house into the woods. She asks Judd what it is, and he explains that it's a path to the Pet Sematary. The family thinks it's a little odd that they have a pet cemetery in the backyard of their house, but Judd explains that it's just where little kids used to bury their pets when they got killed on the road. He offers them to take them down there one time, and they go. They see that it's just a regular pet cemetery, but created by little kids. One day at work, he tries to save the life of a kid that was hit by a truck while riding his bike. He takes him, and he's in like a quiet room with him, trying to save his life. And then the kid wakes up and says the ground is sour, or something like that, and he kind of just gives him a warning type of thing. He says, Louis, and he's like, how did you know my name? And stuff like that. And you can kind of tell that the guy is warning him. So Louis, for a couple nights, keeps getting haunted by this man that he tried to save, his ghost. And he takes him into the pet cemetery and tells him this is the end of the line and stuff like that. And he's trying to, you can kind of feel that he's trying to warn him of something, but he doesn't know. Now, as the movie goes on, it's Thanksgiving, and the parents of the wife aren't acceptive of the dad. They don't like him at all, and they don't want him part of the family. Well, he stays home, and the rest of the family goes off to the wife's parents' house for Thanksgiving. The wife is sad because she wants him to be there, but the father declines because he doesn't want anything to do with them if they don't want anything to do with him. While the wife and kids are at the grandparents' house, the wife's parents' house, back in Chicago for Thanksgiving, the little daughter's cat dies. The cat's name is Church, and it gets hit by a truck. Louis doesn't know what to do. He's thinking about burying it in the pet cemetery, but he asks Judd first. Now he explains the situation to Judd, and Judd has a better idea. Judd sends him off to this Indian burial ground behind the pet cemetery. He explains that it can bring lives back. So him and Judd take a trip up to the Indian burial ground, and only Louis digs a hole for the cat. He buries it and leaves it alone. Goes back home. The next morning, still the kids aren't home yet, neither is the wife, and he hasn't told the wife or kids anything about it yet. He sees the cat in the house, and it's completely alive. But there's something evil about the cat. So Louis kind of thinks it's kind of crazy that things are coming back to life. Finally, the kids and the wife get back from Chicago, and the little girl doesn't think anything ever happened because the cat's alive. He never says anything, and life goes on. So a couple weeks later, Lewis, his wife and kids, and Judd are having a picnic by the road. Everything's going fine, and Ellie starts flying a kite. Lewis wants to give Gage, the little son Gage, a try, so he lets him use it. He's playing with the kite, and Lewis turns his back for a second. Gage lets go of the kite starts flying away, and Gage runs towards it. The kite is flying towards the road, and a truck is coming. Gage runs toward the road to try to pick up the kite, and boom, he gets hit. So then we go forward into the funeral. They're in the church. They have the casket there, and the whole family's there. The father of the wife says, "Oh, you let him die," stuff like that. And they get into this giant fight, and they start throwing punches and everything. So after that's over, it just goes forward into the house, and Lewis starts thinking of what he did to the cat. So Lewis goes over to Judd's house to ask him if the Indian burial ground ever worked on humans. Judd replies, "Oh gosh, no." And after a couple minutes, he finally tells him that someone has tried to do it. And he tells a story about this kid who was in the army, and he died. So then his father was heartbroken, and he took him to the Indian burial ground, buried him, and he came back. But he was like a zombie, and was like trying to kill everyone. Until finally the townspeople found out about it and burned down the house with the kid in it, and the father. Lewis kind of thinks about it, but he does it anyway. He goes to Gage's grave, digs him up, and buries him in the Indian burial ground. So back in Chicago, in the grandparents' house, the girl, Ellie, starts having these bad dreams. Dreams about this man, the man who has also been in Lewis's dreams, telling her that her father's going to be doing something really wrong. The little girl then wakes up from her dreams and tells her mother that she has been having these dreams that her father's going to be doing something wrong. The mother feels that Ellie might be hinting at something, and she goes back to Maine to see if her husband's alright. Now back in Maine, to see if the Indian burial ground has worked for his son, the father is lying in his bed and falls asleep. It cuts back to the Indian burial ground where Lewis dug a hole, and the baby comes out of the rocks and is alive. The baby, Gage, goes into the father's room where he's sleeping and takes out a scalpel and goes out. Goes into Judd's house, and I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to tell you the ending. This movie is incredible. It is scary, gory, not too gory, but it's gory. It's just, oh my god, it's so crazy. Oh, it's so good. Obviously, I'm not going to be reviewing movies that I don't like, so I'm going to tell you every week, oh, it's good, but this one's really, really good. Yeah, I don't really have much to talk about, but yeah, so have a great weekend. Bye.